What it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? We're gonna have to talk about some things today. The country has lost its mind. The country is more worried about Cincinnati, Ohio, and a supposed gang of black people jumping on a couple of white people, right? A gang of black people jumping a couple of white people has captured the country, and the vice president is captured their eye. But what's more important than Cincinnati, Ohio, is what happened in Devil's Den, Arkansas. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton neighborhood. Their state. Well, Hillary from New York, but Bill Clinton state. A young family that just moved to Arkansas was out hiking with their daughters. Right, their daughters were 7 and 9 years old. We love that's the real American dream, right? Walking around with your children, disconnected from this trial and tribulated world. It's you and your kids walking in the woods, right? That's amazing, right? You and your kids walking in the world disconnected from it all. And what this is going to lead to is 5G in the woods. We're gonna have to get 5G in the woods because we can't have serial deleters doing what they doing, right? So like we have a young couple, not necessarily a young couple, 43 years old and 41 years old, walking around with their 7 and 9 year old daughters, living a great life in Arkansas. Hey yo, what up? What up? What up, man? Peace to you, man. Peace to you. And they're out here walking in Arkansas is, believe it or not, Arkansas is beautiful, man. It has it's actually known for mountain biking and good trails and waterfalls, and it's a good natural landscape, especially in a digital world in which we live in today. So this 43-year-old man, father. Yeah, yeah, this tuning in. Yeah, yeah. I gotta talk to you about this, right? So this 43-year-old father walking with his 41-year-old wife, his 7-year-old daughter, and his 9-year-old daughter. They're walking through the woods in Devil's Den, Arkansas. And this man hops out the woods. Hops out the woods. He stabs and deletes the father. And then he turns and stabs and deletes the mother. And the mother screaming to her 7 and 9 year old daughter, run, run, don't look back. Go get help, run, run. These little girls happen to make it to a visitor station and this well-known trail or well-known hiking and trail and camping area called Devil's Den. And they call 911. And this guy takes the life of two innocent American people that happen to be white. walking in the woods with their children. And they say that the assailant happens to be a white or white Hispanic male. But the president is talking about Cincinnati. No, not the president, not the president. I take that back. I misspoke. The vice president, JD Vance, is talking about Cincinnati, Ohio. Now I know you was in Ohio, and I know you did what you ever did your thing in Ohio. I know you got Vivek Ramaswamy that wants to be the governor. I know Barney and all these people are hitting you up about what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. I know this is a big political push, right? I know the politics of Cincinnati are way more, I guess, attractive than actually finding. Look, man, Cincinnati, Cincinnati can handle a fight in their. Y'all look, Leo, chicks, right? Yo, I remember when I was in college, right? Back when I was in college, right? I was in a small town, Greensboro, North Carolina, North Carolina A&T, right? The college kids would get into little brawls and fights downtown all the time. You don't think the police handled that, lock them up for the night, or send them about their way back to campus? It just look, church, right? We are letting a simple brawl that was pretty nasty. It was nasty, people got knocked out, got beat up. But a lot of that had alcohol to do with it. If those people weren't drinking so much, those hits probably wouldn't even have knocked them out. They probably would have just stumbled on, and it didn't have the alcohol. I do believe did play a part of that. I do think racism and race played an issue in that too. I do think people just, honestly, I think what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio was people having too much to drink, too much ego. It was a regular night in American inner cities. And they would rather politicize what happened in inner cities, which is it is a problem, right? Inner city nightlife has become a problem in America. So I get it where the Republicans want to politicize the Cincinnati um, brawl, right, or the Cincinnati beatdown, or jump, whatever they want to call it, or assault. I mean, they call it a hate crime. I mean, people saying they want white people are calling for it to be called a hate crime. And I don't think they hated them. I think that they just didn't want to be slapped in the face or I mean, it could be a hate crime. It would have been a hate crime regardless. If the white people had beat down the black people, it would have been a hate crime. If the black people would have beat down the white people, it would have been a hate crime. Pretty much, it was just inner city racial crime, and you see that happening more and more. There was some fraternity brothers that got into a fight with some bikers, I think in New Orleans. It didn't make headline news because you couldn't politicize that, right? The Democrats didn't want to politicize. They didn't want to politicize black people fighting bikers, okay? And the Republicans did not want to politicize bikers fighting black fraternity guys in New Orleans. So that didn't get politicized, but it was a much worse fight. I actually believe that was a worse fight. That was a much worse fight, I do believe. But but this fight is being politicized in Cincinnati because That's supposed to be MAGA's base, or the Republican base, or the so-called base of the of MAGA that was being beat up in the street. And JD Vance had to come out and politically make that the number one domestic issue in this country, right? So when JD Vance came out the way he came out against what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio, he made Cincinnati, Ohio, and inner city violence the biggest domestic issue in this country. And I don't and right now I think, and right now I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Nah, I don't think so. Nah, I don't think so. The biggest issue in this country right now, the biggest crime that needs to be solved, right? Look, inner city violence is a long term. That's a long term issue, right? Y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all know what y'all doing when y'all go downtown or go to the inner city and be drinking and talking shit. We seen brawls happen after Philly and Cowboys game. I think that the Saints came down here and played the Cowboys, and they beat the damn, and they got into a fight outside the Cowboy Stadium, and I think the Saints beat up the damn Cowboy fans too. So we've seen brawls happen. We've seen all kinds of brawls happen. Bars downtown deal with brawls and people fighting all the time. That's just why the damn police chief wants to come out and say, we're gonna charge the bars. They gave them too much alcohol. So what's going to start happening now, because inner city people are retarded and they want to fight. What's going to happen now is y'all think y'all drinks were watered down before. Your drinks in the inner city are about to be watered down even more. And inflation. Y'all about to see in a look. These drinks are about to go through inflammatory. Like, forget inflation. It's about to be inflammatory, nigga. About to be fuego. Inflammatory. That's what it's about to be. Y'all about the drinks are gonna go from $15 to $22, watered down, because we out here drinking and fighting and brawling in the street. But the reality of it is that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue that our country needs to solve right now, as far as a social domestic issue, we got to find that killer of the Devil's Den. And it's such a nasty name, the Devil's Den. And he hopped out and he did what he did. He slashed and stabbed and drove a knife through a father and a mother in front of their two young children. But those young children had the bravery. They turned that fear into bravery, because those children could have fell to their knees and fell to the ground in pure fear. Your parents are being their parents are being attacked and stabbed by some maniac in the woods. Where you're supposed to be just walking in the woods safely, exercising, skipping around, a good old American family time in Arkansas, and then you get this maniac hop out and stab the mother and the father. But those children had enough bravery. They turned that fear into bravery, and those children able to run to safety, and that's amazing. That's a blessing, and that is just a throughout all that evil that happened out there in them woods. That's gloriful that those children were able to escape the menacing satanic this evil. That's evil. Like, what makes you so evil, dog? That boy what it do, man? Like what makes you so evil that you stab a mother and a father in the woods in front of their children? See, now what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio? That was some bullshit. That's inner city fatigue. That's just black people out here having a good time turning up, white people having a good time turning up. What happened in Cincinnati? That's just Cincinnati having too many events at one time on a weekend, and it end up being a perfect storm into a little fight. A little fight. You got two or three people that got knocked out. And it's really and that Cincinnati shit is really weird because half the black people were fighting and half the black people were helping. Like they weren't actually fighting the other black people, but they were like, "Man, hold on, man, chill." Like, I do agree. Like when you look at it, half the um half the black people trying to help the white guy up, and then some other black people come knock him back down. I'm like, come on, man. So it was just a whole bunch of ridiculousness, right? It was just people drunk, they being out here turning up, having them a good, and then they were just turning up. But at the end of the day, all of them went home. I guarantee you, they talking shit up. Look, the black people talking shit. Yeah, we knocked their ass out. And then white people like, man, fuck them niggas. They out here out of line. But at the end of the day, everybody back home. Everybody back home. You know what I mean? Everybody back home. What up? Exactly, man. Everybody is back home. They all back at the house. They turned up, drunk as hell, had a good time, got into a fight. They gonna talk about this shit for a long time. Personally, forget all the political shit. Personally, they all them gonna talk about this shit for a long time. They gonna bail the people that was knocking people out and fighting. They gonna bail out jail. Ain't nobody going to no prison about this shit. It's gonna be misdemeanor assault, and it's gonna get all this shit gonna get played down because it's gonna get played down. But you can't plead down jumping out the damn woods and stabbing a man and his wife in front of his children. You can't plead that down. What you gonna plead that down to? What you gonna plead? What you gonna plead that down to? So the biggest issue in this country right now, the biggest domestic issue in this country right now, is we got to find what happened, and we got to find that guy, man. We got to find that guy, man. We got to find that guy. See. Everybody worried. They got the country. They got the country worried about find all them niggas that hit a white person in Cincinnati, Ohio. No, I let Cincinnati handle that. Cincinnati got that. The country don't need to be worried about that. The country don't need to be worried about that. The country needs to be worrying about the fact that we have a serial deleter that knows how to navigate trails and backwoods and country land. We have a navigator that knows how to camouflage and hide in the woods, delete people, hide his identification, and stay on the run. Okay? They gonna catch every single one of them people. Every single one of the all these black people that is being politically galvanized across this country to want to see these black people go to jail. All right, they gonna Cincinnati gonna lock them. Cincinnati gonna handle that. Okay, but see, don't let some political shit captivate your mind over some real life shit. This country needs to be covering the devil's den over the Cincinnati fight. Like let me tell you, there's fights in the inner city every weekend. Police deal with that shit every weekend. Every weekend, they somebody out here drunk as hell, swinging at the air, swinging at the every damn week. I'm telling you, dog. Every weekend, somebody going to the tank for being drunk. For every damn weekend across the cities of America. What happened in Cincinnati, America, it's nothing new. They've been doing that shit since the Wild Wild West. Motherfuckers going to the bar, turn the fuck up. Like, you know, people going to like bars and games and festivals and turning up, getting to like little scuffles with each other, man. That shit has been going on for a long time. But a lot of, shit, back in the day, when they used to have these rap concerts, people didn't necessarily make it home from the rap concerts. That shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like, even that has calmed down, right? So people been going out, having a good time, maybe drinking too much, doing too much, and then they get into these little fights. I don't think that that should be turned into a political. I understand how easily you can use that as a political talking point and use that as the biggest social domestic issue of this country. So when JD Vance came out the way that he came out, when JD Vance is pretty much saying that inner city violence like Cincinnati is the biggest issue that this country is facing. I don't think that that is true. I think the biggest issue, one thing that we need to do, we need to solve, is we need to find this serial navigator, trail trail walker that knows how to camouflage and use a knife to delete you. A person that uses a knife to go against multiple people, he's pretty much trained. He's a trained person. He's trained. He know how to use that knife. He quickly took the father out, and then he came and was able to grab the mother and take her out. And by the grace of the glory and the mercy of God, that 7 and 9 year old daughters of theirs were able to escape. Now, if America has already failed its cities. The cities have already failed. The cities have failed for years. I'm glad I grew up in a very rural area in the country, but the cities have failed for years. We've known about inner city violence. Shit, how many presidents have we had that have went through inner city violence? Inner city violence has been an issue for a while, but we got to but when you make the trails of America unsafe again. I remember when they locked the trails up during COVID. During COVID, during COVID, they locked the trails up, right? You couldn't go on the trails, you couldn't ride your bike on the trails. I remember during that they locked the trails up. Another time that they locked the trails up is when Gabby Petito, this young white girl that was practicing that van life, her and her boyfriend went on that van life and she came up missing. They locked the trails up too because they were all searching for Gabby Petito. It was a national, and I keep bringing up that guy Petito. It was a national effort. It was a national effort. Who was the president during Gabby Petito? Was it Trump or was it Biden? I don't know who the president was when Gabby Petito was went missing. But it was a national effort to find her and the person that did anything to him. And what I'm saying is there needs to be a national effort, right? Seriously, like forget all this racism stuff. Like I know racism is bad, but we've been dealing with racism for a long time. We've been dealing with racism and inner city violence for a long time. We're not about to politically they want to politically change it or make it perfect with Cincinnati, Ohio, and this incident being an example of it, so that Beanie and JD and Vivek can get in the can run Ohio, a big swing state. Cool, I get the political play. However, that's not the most important thing right now. We have to we we have to find that damn killer, man. We have to find that killer, dog. Like y'all gonna find y'all Cincinnati with all those cameras in that city are gonna find all them black people and whatever white people, but they all them niggas that threw a punch, they gonna find them cool, and they gonna pay their little fines and do their little community service at best, or 30 days in jail at most. This is not going to be considered a hate crime. White people get the fuck out of here. That's not going to happen. Inner city violence is everybody need to stop drinking and feeling themselves so much when they go out. Everybody need to like check themselves for a second when they go out. Everybody need to be like, you know what? I'm a chill dog. Everybody need to check themselves when they go out. That's just That's just people not checking their ego and having too much to drink. You can't pass no laws to keep people from doing that shit, and it just is what it is. It's just people just out of line at times. It is what it is. But what happened in them woods, dog? What happened in them woods, man? What happened in them woods, man? That is tragic. That's demonic. You know. What happened in Cincinnati is it's that's semi evil, you know. Everybody drunk as hell, egos out of everybody ego chasing, knocking people out. That was semi evil. Like, it was semi wrong, semi evil. The white guy slapping the black man, because he done had too much to drink and his ego. He gonna slap the black man. And the black man like, oh yeah, you ain't gonna slap me. And then he turn up and start fighting the white man. That's just a bunch of drunk, egotistical motherfuckers. American. That's America, dog. That's like this Budweiser, Bud Light, uh, Patron, Hennessy, Jack Daniel, drinking motherfuckers in the middle of the damn street. That's America, dog. I mean, it just is what it is, right? Like that, to a certain extent, America allows that in particular evil in our society for entertainment and fun. I mean, so that ain't no big deal to me. What happened in Cincinnati really ain't no big deal to me. Everybody on the especially on conservative side is talking about Cincinnati, Ohio. JD Vance, he was talking about it. They just trying to use it for Vivek, JD, and Benny to take over major areas politically in Ohio, and touch back with their base and say that we see y'all getting drunk, turning up, fighting in the street, slapping people, and getting beat up. That's what JD pretty much said, right? And then he not only did he say that, he said that inner city violence is numero uno, the number one issue of the domestic issues in America. And we have way more domestic issues far as violence in America than inner cities. Like that shit is bad, right? But we have to find this killer, dog. Big O, what it do? We have to find this killer, man. I'm gonna drop this link in his chat. We have to find this killer because You know, America more worried about what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that shit was simple, dog. What happened in Cincinnati, Ohio was simple. You know, you just got niggas throwing hands and drinking. Like, yo, you go out there and you go out here and you drink too much Hennessy, right? And you know, you get to feeling yourself and shit. You might, you might gonna hit somebody. You might be out here drinking all the damn Hennessy. And that's the reason why I'm not mad at the police chief for talking about because down here in Dallas, right, a bar had overserved this guy some alcohol, and he went out here and ran a car into a police officer, took the police officer's life, hopped out the car and took off running. They had and the civilians had to tackle and arrest him. And then the police came and got him. So like these bars are somewhat to blame. America has a whole lot more social issues that they when it comes down to inner city violence, there's a lot of social issues that America is not willing to talk about. But so like did they serve too much alcohol at these damn games? Every time you go to look, they serve way too much alcohol at the bars, at the festivals, and at these games. Y'all need to drink some damn water, some Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? For real. You know what I'm saying? People go out here and you know what? And I can't even blame it on the price, right? I can't even blame it on the price. They be charging y'all, I didn't even say y'all, they be charging us as people an inflated amount on these drinks when we go to these events. Well, every time you go to an event, right? You go to the bar, you go to the club, you go anything. These drinks are expensive, but yet you know what you do? You buy a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? We be buying. So it ain't even. I can't even blame. It's us, man, and we want to blame the bars. And I'm gonna blame the board because I don't want to accept accountability for my behavior sometimes, just like y'all don't. And it's been times where I done been downtown or I done been out. Not just in college, but in as a grown ass man that had too much to damn drink. I done been in that situation about one or two times. Well, in the past 3 years, I've been in that situation about one or two times. And I say one or two because the first time I was like, man, this shit's too damn dangerous. Having too much to drink. And then the second time, I was like, hell no, man. This shit is way you get into too much shit. You get into too much shit. Go down here drinking like you're gonna be drunk as hell downtown, turned up, and then you get into some shit. You ready to pull the strap? Somebody else ready to pull the strap? Somebody see you fly? They want to rob you, right? They got this thing called jigging. Jigging. There's a new law they passed down here in Texas called jigging. Jigging. Yeah, you a jigger. You a damn jigger. You a jigger. And what jigging is, it's a new law, y'all can look it up. It's a new law that they passed down here in Texas, right? So if you go to uh the ATM machine, or you go to like a place where you withdraw cash, and someone follows you there, or they follow you after you leave there, it's called jigging, and they're trying to make that a up charge. It's they're trying to up the charge. It's a new charge that it's like they're trying to put it up there with armed robbery and shit. Like Like you robbed the Brinks nigga. Like even if you took out $40 and walked away and someone robbed you, like nah, you watched him take money out the ATM and then you followed him and robbed him. You jigging, you's a damn jigger, right? And that's the shit that be going on down there in the inner city. The inner city fucked up. And I see what I get it. I see where JD Vance is like, okay, we got to politically JD, Benny, Ravik. I see where they're saying where there's like we got to move on this. We got to move on this, right? We got to move on this. We got jigging laws that's out here. We can get our hands on these inner cities and really politically take over. Especially now that the people are afraid. Fear is one of the greatest ways to politically engage a person. Like when people feel fear, when people feel like this is why there's no glory in this, right? There's no glory there's no glory in the laws that are changed from this little Cincinnati beef because it's based in fear. It's based in dishonor. It's based in like this. It's based in control and it's bad. It's just real bad. It's not a good thing to like try to change try to change or control the inner city laws off of this fight in Cincinnati. It's just not worth it. These bars are going to keep selling the alcohol, right? These people going to keep going down there, acting up, turning up. It just is what it is. But a lot of times, man, people go home at the end of the day. And a lot of, I mean, and unfortunately, sometimes people get stupid and they pull out guns and people don't make it home. And that is, and to me, that's to me, I don't see that as the same, dog. Like y'all can call me crazy, and y'all can call me crazy, right? I don't care. Y'all can call me crazy. I don't think that in the inner city where you out there, you in the inner city, you in Cincinnati, you in Dallas, you in Charlotte, and you in Atlanta, New York, and you downtown, and somebody pull out a gun and shoot you. I don't think that is I think that is crazy. But I think that someone jumping out the woods and stabbing you is insane and demonic. It's like I can actually understand you getting shot in the city. Like I know it sounds crazy. I know like y'all like, well, you don't care about inner city violence. Like you saying it's okay. I know y'all are thinking like it's okay for people to jump out and put guns to people in the inner city and shoot people in the inner city, the hop out boys and hiding behind air conditioners and shit and jumping out and stabbing and shooting and robbing people. A lot of that stuff happens in the inner city, right? And I'm not trying to excuse it, but what happened in them woods is worse. I just think it's worse, right? And I know people are gonna be like, no, it's not worse. They might if you walking, like you walking in the city and someone starts beating your ass and stabs you and shoots you, that's just as bad as walking in the woods and someone stabs you and shoots you. Man, I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same, man. I don't think it's the same. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm biased in my argument. What JD Vance is saying is what I don't think that was a random act of violence. First of all, in Cincinnati, Ohio, he slapped that guy. But what JD Vance is saying is the violence in the city, the stabbings and the shootings in the city, or worse than what happened in the woods. And I don't know if that's true. I think the fact that this dude hopped out and stabbed that father and that mother in front of those children, I think that is worse than what happens in these inner cities. And people are gonna say, no, you're wrong. The violence in the inner city and the random acts of violence in the inner city should take precedent over what's happening in Devil's Den. I disagree. I just fundamentally disagree. I just disagree, man. I disagree, man. Like when you take your kids to like when you and your family go to the inner city, it's like inherently due to the club the cluster and just the different just the amount of people that's clustered in one area and the different personalities and attitudes and things, you almost know that there needs to be a certain level of diplomacy or just to get through that or just to just to move through it, right, and not get into no bullshit, just to make your moves, right. And sometimes you want to escape that, right? You don't want to like have to maneuver through the city life and deal with the constant noise and and concrete and people hustling and bustling and everyone is trying to make it. Sometimes you want to escape that, right? You want to go into the woods or walk on the countryside or go fishing or just go spend some leisure vacation like time, right? So walking in the woods with your kids on a trail it may not be a vacation, but it's vacation like. It's vacationish, right? It's kind of like a vacation, right? Like a little baby trip. Not a trip. We ain't actually going on we are going somewhere, walking through the woods. But it's not a formal vacation, right? But it's kind of like a little vacation, right? We escaping like the whole no kids going to football practice, basketball practice, baseball practice. Little girls probably do dance, cheerleading. You know what I'm saying? Like escaping the routine of the day and just getting out there in the woods and having like a vacation, open, chill. This is a natural experience with your wife and your kids, right? And this maniac jumps out the woods and stabs you and your wife in front of your children. Like, come on, that's worse. Y'all know what y'all doing in these inner cities because y'all been doing it a while. Y'all been doing that shit a while. Y'all been wilding in these inner cities for years, man. And look, yo, so I grew up in the country and I live in the city. I grew up in North Carolina, but I live out here in Dallas. And 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 I'm not, God forbid anything happened to me as far as violence, because I try to, keep it 100, stay low key, do my thing. You know what I'm saying? But still enjoy life, right? But the I understand the shit that be happening in Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth, Central Texas, even I be all over Texas. I'm all over Texas. I'm all over this motherfucker. So I understand how dealing with that. There's certain dangers in dealing with that, and we can't. I don't know how to legally. I don't know how to legally make that go away. It's almost like JD Vance wants gun control, more surveillance in the inner cities, more stop and frisk. Because you got to think about it, right? When you go to a club, when you go to an event downtown, they stop. They ain't gonna say they stop and frisk you, but you get stopped and frisked, right? You go through metal detectors and all kinds of shit, right? There's like TSA checkpoints throughout life, Oh, I'm going to the Charlotte Hornets game or the Mavs game. My favorite football team, the Panthers. You know, going to the Panthers, right? There's like little stop and frisk areas where they like stop you, like and really frisk you. And then even if you fly, right? I'm about to fly like an eagle through the sea. You know, I'm about to fly to the future on some DeLorean shit. Nigga, I'm gonna go somewhere, nigga, changing time zones. Nigga, they be stopping and frisking you then. TSA agent looking motherfuckers, right? So when you go downtown, you go to the bar before they be stopping and frisking too. Touchy, touchy. Get your ass out of here, my nigga. I'm good. I ain't got nothing on me, right? And then, so really, a lot of times downtown, like if people going in and out of clubs, they ain't got nothing on them. Now you got to be careful about those people that don't actually go into clubs. When you downtown and you see the people that don't go into clubs, you gotta be a little bit weary of them because you know they're not going in clubs for a reason because they're not trying to go through the stop and frisk. So those be the people that probably had like pocket knives on them, little nines, 45s, and guns and shit on them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like stay clear of them, man. Like you ain't got to like, you know what I'm saying, start no problems with them unless they start some problems with you. And then you know what I'm saying, that is what it is. You really at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you can avoid them characters because they got their own issues with their own people. You got to just trying to have a good time. And that's what happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. It wasn't no gangster shit. It wasn't no people that standing out there on the block, you know what I'm saying, got their knife and they nine on them, you know what I'm saying, selling, you know what I'm saying, doing what they doing, making moves. It won't those people that were fighting in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was some regular drunk, happy to be American and drink alcohol and fight in the street people. Right? That was what was out there. But what would happen in those woods is not that. What happened at the Devil's Den was not that. That was just the American family trying to be American, being an American family. That was the American nuclear family. That was a father, a mother, and their two children. That was the American nuclear family that we need so bad to make this country actually great again. That is what was taken in those woods at the Devil's Den, and that's one of the biggest mysteries we need to solve. We need to get this Hannibal Lecter, Buffalo Bill, stabbing ass, scream face mask person off our trails, our woods, because if we can't escape, if they have to put 5G in the woods because of stupid people like this, 5G in the woods now. They got to put 5G in the woods. They got to put police officers on foot or on mountain bikes in the woods. We got to hire more gang wardens to handle the trails because now we got a bunch of psychopathic serial killers taking away the leisures, the breakaways, the things that really help keep a family not only exploring together but strong and healthy together and lively together. You know what I mean? So I remember like shit, like me, my dad, my sister, we used to walk in the wood. My mom didn't walk in the woods like that. My mom, she walk no damn woods. Me and my dad, my sister, she used to bring my sister out there every now and then. So walk in the woods, or whatever, right? And I remember like even when I had my son, right? And me and my ex-wife, like she's my ex-wife now, right? Me, my ex-wife, well at the time it was my wife, but me, my at the time wife, my dad, his wife, his now wife, my sister, we went and walked the trails of the Noose by the Noose River in North Carolina. Like there's an area up in Goldsboro, the cliff of the Noose, and the Noose and all that. We went and walked those trails and stuff. Had a good time, man. Had a great time walking around with my fam. You know what I'm saying? Like just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Even had the baby out there. And I had my son out there was walking around. You know what I'm saying? Baby mama almost stepped on a snake, got scared because she from Dallas. She got scared. Ah, I almost stepped on the snake. She was tripping. It was a little big. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. We had a good time though out there, at the time. It was a good, beautiful time out there, right? And not and when we was out there, I never would possibly think that some psychopath would hop out the woods. Now I'm aware and vigilant, situational awareness, right? That could happen. But I just never felt like that walking through the woods with them. And it was just so fun back then. It's just I still do it, and I don't want America to lose that. We're losing all of our pastimes. We're losing the pastime of going to the inner city and checking out a good baseball game, a good football game, having a drink at the bar. You know what I'm saying? We're losing all of our good pastimes because we have bad behavior. We have a country full of bad behavior. We can't go downtown and drink with each other. We've been doing that shit. We've been proving that we have bad behavior downtown. Okay, downtown behavior, inner city behavior, it has been proven to be bad for a long time. We've proven we can't do that right. But we used to be able to walk on trails together. But the more I look into this, the more I'm starting to believe that that's not even true. I know the more the amount of people that have come up missing, uh, attacked on these trails. The trails of America are not even safe no more. We need a cultural change because something is going on in this country. I don't know if we have done so much evil as a country that we're starting to reap what we sow. I don't know if America has sowed so many bad seeds around the world that now we're being treated like some big sundown city going through havoc and chaos. No, it's almost like it's almost like when a person that has dementia or like some form of Alzheimer's, and they go through some form of sundowning. So when the sun goes down and time starts to warp in their mind, and they don't know day from night, up from down, right from wrong. Something called sundowners that you see elderly people do. And it's almost like we're in a sundowners mentality in this country. And I don't mean that in a racial way, like sundown town, where we gonna kill all the black people. No, I don't mean it like in a sundown town that way. I mean it for like sundown town, like a sundowner as far as psychiatrically or mentally when it comes down to like people with like dementia and Alzheimer's, tomato, however you pronunciate it. Even as a healthcare provider, nothing is even the same anymore. Pronunciation of some diagnosis, this is crazy. Everything is fucked up. Y'all have a blessed one.